Peace Team Africa Worldwide. What am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about astrology and how I feel that it can be beneficial to black people. Before I get started, let me greet you in Kiswahili. Habari ya asubuhi, habari ya mchana, habari ya jioni. Astrology, what is it? A lot of times people say it's a pseudoscience. They say it's not real. Astronomy is a science, but astrology is not. I don't know. I think a lot of times some people like to keep their lives simple, and they don't like to look at anything below a surface level, or they don't like to dig deep, and because of that, we neglect tools and resources that we have to make lives better for ourselves as individuals or as a collective. Well, I would say, in defense of astrology, is that you have to think about it scientifically. Think about what makes up the human body, what makes up the universe, how the world began. I mean, we know that the world began as a result of an explosion, and then as a result of that explosion, things went in a circular motion, and then it all cooled off, and then we had Earth. And so Earth is a composite of materials that are in the universe, and Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about it. He says we're all stars because we're made out of star stuff. So what you have to think about is your body is full of water. Your body has iron. Your body has magnesium. Your body has copper. Your body has every type of rock that can be found on the earth. Your body has electricity. Your body has wind. You breathe in oxygen and you exhale carbon dioxide. So you have to know that just like weather is affected by the planetary movement in the galaxy, so with your body. If the moon can pull on Earth and cause the oceans to have tidal waves, you don't think that the moon is pulling on the water that's in your body? Just like water evaporates from the ground, goes up to the sky, and then comes back in the form of rain, and the sun is pulling that water, you don't think that the sun is pulling the water within your body? You have magnets. When you have certain steels, they come together and they reflect, and you have these different types of metals and minerals in your body, and you don't think that they aren't affected by other minerals and metals as far as repelling and attracting. So you got to understand, I mean, when the world is going through different seasons, and you have hot, and you have cold, and you have cool, and you have warm, and you feel these effects on the earth, and the vegetation feels the effects. If you have a certain amount of minerals in the ground, and you get the right amount of water and the right amount of sunlight, then it's going to produce food. And so it's the same thing with you. If you have the right amount of minerals in your body, the right amount of water, and the right amount of sunlight, then you're going to be more productive. I mean, so why would you think that the position of the planets don't affect you? When you were born, the planetary bodies were positioned a particular way. And anybody who studies astrology more than just reading the little short blurbs that used to be in the newspaper back in the days when people read newspapers, you will see consistent patterns. It's not like people make it up as they go. You can get 10 people who studied astrology, and if they analyze the situation, they're pretty much going to analyze it the same way with minor differences. And what a lot of people have to understand is that you have more than one sign. When we talk about our sign, we talk about star signs. But you also have what's called a rising sign, and you also have what's called a moon sign. Your sun sign is what people tend to see. Your moon sign is how you react to emotional situations, and your rising sign is a little bit more about like how you think. And also you have what's called cusp. Cusp means that when you're born close to another sign, and so you're also influenced by personality traits of that sign. And so this explains like when a lot of people say, well, I'm this sign, I'm a Leo or whatever, and they say that sign is supposed to be a fire sign, and I don't feel like a fire sign. Well, that you have to think, okay, well, what's your moon sign? What's your rising sign? Are you born on the cusp? All those things matter. I mean, it's just like if you were making a dish, and you had spaghetti, and one plate of spaghetti might have more salt, one plate of spaghetti might have more pepper, one plate of spaghetti might have more tomatoes. They're all spaghetti, but they're all a little bit different. It doesn't mean that they're not spaghetti anymore because they behave a little differently. If you examine the ingredients, then you understand why this tastes different. And so the key to life is about knowing yourself. And so why would a person not want to use a tool that will help you know yourself better? It's not to make excuses. A lot of people think that you're supposed to use astrology to say, well, this person is stubborn because they're this sign or whatever, and so I just can't help it, or he can't help it, so I'm gonna give him a pass. No, you're supposed to, when you study astrology, you learn the strengths of your sign, you learn the weaknesses of your signs, and because you know your strengths and your weaknesses, use that to help you make decisions. If you know that there are certain weaknesses that are attributed to your sign, and if you make an honest assessment of yourself and you see those traits in yourself, you work to improve those traits. You just don't accept them and don't try to improve on them. And it's the same way when you would know people. You might give a person, you might deal with a person a little bit differently based on them having certain personality traits based on their sign, but you don't give them a straight up pass and just excuse bad behavior. That's not what it's for at all. But I seriously think that if we pay more attention to astrology, we would do a better job picking careers, pursuing our career paths, and that could be beneficial. I always talk about getting the money. I mean, I think that is the problem with African people worldwide, is that we don't have all the financial resources we need. I mean, in America, we do have quite a bit going through our fingers that we mismanage. However, in comparison to other people, we still don't. I mean, compared to other Americans, because we all know that, a non-African high school graduate typically makes more money than an African American college graduate. But it would give us, if we use astrology, we would probably do a better job picking our majors in college, so we don't get a major that we're not interested in. And we'll also do a better job picking our careers if we, maybe going in a different direction. If it turns out that we're in the wrong field. And then, I always like to talk about black male-female relationships. A lot of times we're picking our partners, be it a spouse or a girlfriend, boyfriend, or just a sexual relationship. A lot of times we're picking that strictly on how somebody looks to us. If we find them physically attractive, a lot of times that's the only thing people look at. Other times we look at how they make us feel when we're around them, and knowing that could just be their role plan for the day. That doesn't mean that's their personality, and a lot of times, we look at how much money a person makes, or do they have a fancy title. And I'm not saying that you don't look at all these things. I'm not saying that none of what I just mentioned is important. But if you add astrology to it, you find out what signs are compatible to your sign. I believe that that the relationships will flow better. Now, I know somebody might say, well, I am a Cancer, and I married a Scorpio, and we end up getting a divorce. So, Brother Konate, what you are saying is completely false, and astrology is just some mumbo jumbo. But what you have to understand is it's just one tool. I'm not saying that pairing up according to astrology is going to be the answer to all your problems and guarantee success. Because all relationships need management. All relationships need growth. I just believe that if we pair up according to astrology, then we will have an easier time at it. Don't get me wrong. A lot of us, we have emotional scars, and unfortunately, some people are just broken. They're broken, and you can't fix them. And broken people, they have to fix themselves. I personally know that you can't love a broken person into healing. It has to come from the inside. So you might say, well, astrology says that, I'm a Leo, and if I get with an Aries, I don't even know if those two signs are compatible, but let's use that as an example. That's supposed to be a perfect match, and that didn't work out. Well, okay, that is not evidence that astrology doesn't work. That's just evidence of human relationships. If somebody had some very bad experiences prior to meeting you, they just may not have shaken that. And at the same time, no two people are alike, even identical twins are not alike. So I'm not saying that you don't have to continue to manage relationships if you date according to astrology, but I think it helps you understand yourself. It helps you understand the other person, and the more you have in common with people, the better you're going to get along. So yeah, I think astrology can have benefits in our choices of study, in our choices of career, in our choices of picking a partner. And I think that if we did that, it would help improve our relationships, one-on-one individual relationships between African men and African women, and ultimately it would improve the entire African nation, because as KRS once said, I think in the Hidden Colors series, shout out to everybody that's been in that was a great series. He said that a nation is nothing but a group of families. That's all it is. A nation is nothing but a group of families, and families are composed of a man coming together with a woman and building from there. And So if you use astrology to better yourself as an individual, better yourself as a couple, a family, and there goes the nation being uplifted. Probably shouldn't phrase it, there goes the nation, but the nation will be uplifted. And it's just one tool. This is one tool out of many. I'm not saying it's going to change your life. I'm not the type of person of change your life like drastically. It's just a low aid. That's all. Just a little bit of an aid. Think about it like if you adding a spoonful of sugar to your coffee. Your coffee is going to wake you up anyway, but if you add a spoonful of sugar, it'll go down easier, and it'll give you that boost faster. Not that I'm promoting caffeine, but just using that to illustrate a point. So with that being said, I hope that wasn't too boring. And if you like my content, I would appreciate it if you like the video, if you subscribe to my channel, share my videos, and ring the bell so you can be notified whenever I upload new content. I know that I do have a problem with a lot of uhs and ahs because I still haven't found time to write any of my material down or try to rehearse any of it. And I'm saying it off the top of my head, and I'm doing my best effort to attempt to not misspeak. I'll probably misspeak anyway, but I'm trying to do my best effort to not misspeak. So I'm thinking while I'm speaking. That's why I say a lot of uhs and ahs, but I'm gonna work on it and I will improve. So with that being said, I just want to tell the whole Team Africa Worldwide, I love you as always, and we got to come together, and we have to build, and we can do it. We can redeem ourselves as kings and queens over our kingdom, which is planet Earth. Kwaheri.